Jayatyaśrita santrasa dhvanta vidvamsa nodayah Prabhavan Sitaya Devya Parama Vyoma Bhaskaraha. In the names of the Lord that describe Sri Rama as the reviver, as the rejuvenator of the distressed and the dead, these are the namas that begin. 390th nama, Parardhihi. Sarvaishwaryadapi parasya kalyana guna samriddhir iti parardhihi. So there are certain gunas, qualities that define the Parabrahman. Jnana bala, Aishwarya virya, Shakti tejas. Now, if these are the essential characteristics, now Shastram speaks of Swarupa Nirupaka Dharmam. Satyatvam, Jnanatvam, Anantatvam, Anandatvam, Amalatvam. These are called as the defining gunas. Now, over and beyond this, there are gunas that will further describe the Parabrahman. They are the Kalyana gunas, for example. Saulabhyam, Saushīlyam, Mardavam, Marjavam, Sauhardam, Vatsalyam, Karunyam, Gambhiryam, Stairyam, Dhairyam, Viryam, Parakramam, Satyakam. These are all Kalyana gunas. Now, Kalyana guna samriddhir iti parardhihi. The one who's a repository of such Kalyana gunas is referred to by the name Parardhihi. The next nama is Paramaspashtaha. Kincha Paramaspashtaha Spashta Pratyaksha Drishtasva Paramyaha. Now, while he is born as Rama, he is living as Rama, there are certain characteristics, there are certain anecdotes that may be related to that he is Parabrahmam. So, Kincha Paramaspashtaha Spashta Pratyaksha. It is very clear. One. Tatascha dvadashe maase chaitre navamike tithau nakshatre aditi deivatye swachcha samstheshu panchasu. As Valmiki describes, he says, Graheshu Karkate Lagne. As he begins describing the Grahas, he starts speaking about 5 Grahas exalted. Pancha Uche Lokanayakaha. So, these 5 Grahas which are exalted will relate that he is a world leader. This is just step 1. Whereas in Kishkinda Kandam, when Hanuman meets up with Rama for the first time, he says, Ayatascha suvrittascha bahavaha parighopamaha sarvabhushana bhusharhaha kimarthamna vibhushitaha. So while describing Rama, he says, bahavaha, for which the commentator Govindaraja says, Yadva Hanumato chaturbhuja veshena drishyo abhavat. So he says, only for the sake of his great devotee Hanuman, Rama showed 4 hands. Why is this important? Because in Vyakaranam, in Sanskrit grammar, if it is 1 hand, it is Bahu. If it is 2, it is Bahu. If it is more than 2, it is Bahavaha. If Rama was present there, it should have been called Bahu. But here Valmiki refers to the word Bahavaha, which denotes that the 2 extra limbs that carry the Shankham and Chakram was visible only to Hanuman. The one who makes his divine characteristics explicit is called as Paramaspashtaha. The next nama is Tushtaha. Adhikritadhikaratva paratvadapi atishayena samasta manushyadi adhikarayor dasharathitva jagat palanayor labhat pritaha tushtaha. So, even while he chooses to be born on the earth, he chooses his father, Ichchadinam. So he chooses his father. Samasta manushyadi adhikarayor dasharathitva jagat palanayor palanayor bhat pritaha tushtaha. Now, despite choosing to be born as a human and despite being wanting to be a normal human, Atmanam Manushamanye Ramam Dasharathatmajam, he has chosen his father. In such a case, he goes completely in adherence to the Shastram. Because when we say Dasharathi, the entire avataram focuses itself on the Samanya Dharmam, which is Pitruvakya Paripalanam. The second thing is, in Srimad Ramayanam, Rama said that Sita is not the lady whom I chose. It was chosen by my father. Dara pitrikritaha iti. So here it is the very concept of the Lord who chooses to be the son of Dasharatha, who is Tushtaha. The next nama is Pushtaha. Evam Mahagunaihi Paripurnaha Pushtaha. The one who is a repository of great qualities, very soft spoken. Purva Bhashi, Madhura Bhashi cha Raghavaha. Then he used to respect the elders. Vayo Vriddhaihi, Jnana Vriddhaihi, Shila Vriddhaihi. He was an exemplification of valor. So, Viryavan, Samarthaha, Vidwan, Jitakrodaha, these are all gunas that describe him. In fact, the first few shlokas of Ramayanam, Valmiki poses them as questions. Konasmin sampratam loke gunavan kascha viryavan dharmajñascha kritajñascha satyavakyo dridhavrataha charitrena chako yuktaha dharmabhuteshu kohitaha vidwan kakkas samarthascha kaschaika priyadarshanaha atmavan ko jitakrodaha dyutiman ko anasuyakaha kasya bibhyati devascha jataroshasya sanyuge. So in such a case, we have the nama which is Pushtaha. The next nama is Shubhekshanaha. Swakarmakam swakartrikam cha darshanam atishubham asyeti shubhekshanaha. Now, in Srimad Ramayanam, Valmiki says, when Rama used to walk on the streets, he makes a remark. He says, those of them who lived at that point in time on earth, they would criticize themselves, they would mock themselves if they have never had the opportunity to see Rama, or if they have never had the opportunity to be seen by Rama. Yancha Ramam na pashyetu, yancha Ramo na pashyati. So, people will ridicule such people, it seems, if you have not been seen by Rama or you have not seen Rama. So he says, Swakarmakam, Swakartrikam cha, Darshanam ati shubham asyeti shubhekshanaha. So the one who is the treat to our eyes by having had a complete auspicious form is called as Shubhekshanaha. Now, the next nama is Ramaha. We will all be wondering, why does Lord Shiva say Shri Rama, 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 iti rame rame manorame? Is that Ramanama a part of Vishnu Sahasranamam? See, we have got Ramaha, Ramaha. Ramyate asmin sada sarvaihi guna rupa vashikritaihi iti Ramaha. So there is a shloka by Valmiki which goes like this. Chandrakantananam Ramam ativa priyadarshanam rupa audarya gunaihi pumsam drishtichittapaharinam. He says Chandrakantananam Ramam. Rama's ananam, which is face, Chandrakantananam. It is like the full moon. Chandrakantananam Ramam ativa priyadarshanam. He is very handsome to look at. Rupa audarya gunaihi pumsam. Through his qualities like Rupa, Audarya, Guna. So these are all gunas that he showcases. Rupam is his form. Audaryam is his innate ability. So his external form impresses the eyes. His innate quality impresses the mind. Rupa, Audarya, Gunaihi, Pumsam, Drishti, Chitta, Apaharinam. The other point is, his beauty and his qualities are so relishable that if men themselves fall prey to it, what to speak of women? So Ramaha Ramyate asmin sada sarvaihi guna rupa vashikritaihi iti Ramaha. The next nama is Viramaha. Viramyate asmin varapradair brahmadibhir varaishchavadhyatvadibhir varaischa ravanadibhir iti viramaha. So boons were given to Ravana by Brahma. Later, Ravana started tormenting the other devotees and the other citizens. That is when the Lord, who wanted to respect Brahma by keeping up the boons, at the same time bringing about the annihilation of Ravana, thereby saying that both the boons, what Ravana has acquired, and Ravana, who is the person, and the one who has given boons, Brahma, they all come under me. So, as here, he starts resting in them. So, he is not overtly exerted or taxed. He says, I will take care of it. And he rests. When does he rest? He feels Brahma has given boons, Ravana is misusing, I will take care, but he says it very casually. So he is called Viramaha. So Ramaha, Viramaha. Next, the next nama, the 397th nama is Virataha. Nisarga nairapekshena kripanat rajyadehe virataha. So, he was told by Dasharatha, Kintu chittam manushyanam anityamiti mematam. You do not know, Rama, how people's thoughts will vary. So I wish to see you as the king. I wish to see you as the higher apparent first. So now I announce that you will become the higher apparent. Just a few hours later, he calls up Rama and says that we will not give you the Rajyam. It would have been a big shock for any normal person. But Rama accepts that too. So he accepts Labha, Alabha, Jaya, Ajaya. Labha, Labhau, Jaya, Jayau, says Krishna as Gita Charya in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Rama worked towards that concept and showcased it. Hence, he is called as Virataha. So he is not interested in the Rajyam. The next one, 398th nama, Margaha. Bharadvajadi Munibhir Margyata iti Margaha. So Bharadvaja. So we have got many rishis. Bharadvaja, one who is a very senior person, who was a Sishya to Valmiki. Later Rama goes and accepts the hospitality of Bharadvaja in Ayodhya Kandam. Now the one who is being sought after by sages even like Bharadvaja. So if Bharadvaja and other rishis have been trying to meditate on Rama, imagine his greatness. He is called as Margaha. The next nama is the 399th nama. Neyaha. Suhridam niyoga hartvat neyaha. So, when his devotees who have excess love towards him say that you have to do this, he will do it. Let us take for example Bhaktisara, who was asked to go out of the kingdom, whose student was asked to go out of the kingdom. At that point in time, Bhaktisara felt that I will not stay here, even I will leave. But when he told the Lord, you should also come with me, the Lord went along with him, it seems. Likewise, the one who can even be commanded by devotees on condition that their love is unconditional, then he is called as Neyaha. Bhadrachala Ramadas constructed a beautiful temple for Lord Rama on Bhadrachalam. But at the same time, he was imprisoned. He prayed to the Lord. He prayed to the goddess. Then the Lord, in order to observe the Agnya, the order given to him, he came as Ramoji and Lakshmanoji. So, Anupamanamai ati sundaramai dhanarucha kramulu dhaga dhaga meri sedi adigo Bhadradri Gautami idigo chudandi. Mutamulo Sita mudita Lakshmanulu kalisi koluvaga Raghupati undedi adigo Bhadradri Gautami. So Bhadrachala Ramadas, one of the greatest devotees that we might have seen, to him the Lord succumbed to. He says, I will follow your order. If the devotee is filled with devotion, the Lord tries to follow his orders. So he is called as Neyaha. The next nama, 400th nama, is Nayaha. Techa Tayasmin Niyata iti Nayaha. Now, he has made a promise that he will protect the rishis living in the forest from the demons. Tevayam bhavataraksya bhavat vishayavasinaha nagarastho vanasthova tvamno raja janeshwaraha. The rishis said, Rama, you will have to protect us from the demons. It seems Rama asked, see, I am now in the forest, I am not in the city. How can you ask me? The rishis said, Tevayam bhavataraksya bhavat vishayavasinaha. How does it matter? Nagarastho Vanasthova, whether you are in a Nagara, a city, or Vanasthova, or in a Vana, Tvamno Raja Janeshwaraha, aren't you the Lord for us? So the one who has promised to protect the rishis and has acted by it is called Nayaha. Techa Tayasmin Niyata iti Nayaha. The 401th nama, anayaha sa eva asuhrud bhirna nayo asyaditi iti anayaha. So he cannot be commanded or he cannot be driven away by the enemies. He will teach them a lesson. Karadushanadi yuddham. For example, Vedanta Deshika says, Viradha harina shardula vilulita bahupala makha kalama rajanichara mriga mrigayaramba chirabrita nuroda trishira shirastritaya timira nirasa vasarakara Dushana jalanidhi soshana toshita rishi gana goshita vijaya ghoshana karatara utkandana chanda pavana dvisapta rakshas sahasranāma vilolana mahakalabha asahaya shura anapaya sahasa. So he says, Viradha harina shardula, to the demon who was Virada, who came in the who was like a deer, Rama became the tiger. Trishira shirastritaya timira nirasa vasarakara. Two Trishiras, who was with 3 heads, all his 3 heads were cut. Timira nirasa vasarakara, like the sun that dispels darkness. Dushana jalanidhi soshana toshita rishigana goshita vijaya ghoshana. So, two Dushana, who was another demon, he was like an ocean, but the Lord's powers were like the powers to evaporate the entire ocean, dry up the entire ocean. Karataru kandana chanda pavana. Kara, the asura, was like a tree, and the Lord Rama was like a Chandamarutam, was like a cyclone. He drove away the tree. Karataru kandana chanda pavana. So the one who does all this is called as Anayaha. The next nama is Viraha. Rakshasam atibhaya chalana hetutvat Viraha. So, Asuras, they will start struggling, they will start trembling before Rama. It seems there was one Asura. When we say Asura, now for example, let us take him to be a Rakshasa because he has come dispatched by Ravana. So, his name was Akampana. Kampanam means trembling, shivering. He was called Akampana. He will never tremble or shiver. But when Rama had to fight, even he had to escape from the battlefield by wearing a sari, because Rama thought we should never be disrespecting or hurting the woman. So he drove him away. The other very example that we all can think of where people trembled, one was Maricha. Maricha was seated, Ravana came, asked him to go as a deer. To whom asked Maricha, he said, you'll have to go to Rama. Rakara adini namani. Don't ever say names with begin with Ra. I start trembling because that Rama, while he was at the age of 12, he shot me and I'm sitting here. I don't know whether what will happen to me now. Don't take that name. So the one who brings about that fear or shivers is called as Viraha. So, Rakshasam atibhaya chalana hetutvat Viraha. The next nama is Shaktimatam Sreshtaha. So he says, Shaktimatam Suradinam Atishayena Prashasya Iti. Now, he is greater than the most of the powerful devas. If we think Agni is most powerful, he is greater than that. If we think Vayu is most powerful, he is greater than that. If we think Indra is more powerful, he is greater than that. If we think Shiva and Brahma are powerful, he is greater than that. In such a case, he is called Shaktimatam Sreshtaha. The next nama is Dharmaha. Abhyudaya Nishreyasabhyam Sarvasya Sakshadvaranat Dharmaha. So he says, the one who blesses his devotees both with Ihaloka Saukhyam, which is wealth, and Paraloka Saukhyam, which is Moksham, is called as Dharmaha. So he supports all the devas this way. He is called as Dharmaha. The next nama is Dharma Viduttamaha. Dharma Vitsuttamo Dharma Viduttamaha. Dharma Jnane Vasishtha Vamadeva Markandeyadinam Sishyaha Api Ujjivyaha. So he is a repository of Dharma Shastram, Dharma Jnanam and Dharma Gunam. And he is also a Sishya who has learnt great meanings from Vasishtha, Vamadeva, Markandeya Dinam. So from these rishis he has learnt. At the same time, he is so steadfast with dharma that at one point in time, he will end up teaching dharma to all these rishis. So he is called Dharma Viduttamaha. The next nama is Vaikunthaha. Here it is said, Sarvesham Samsleshayita Vaikunthaha. So, in certain cases, he will fill the gap between him and his devotees. On the first day when Guha offered him fruits, Rama did not accept. But the next day he accepted. How could he change his mind so often? He thought the first day I am not accepting because Guha is reaching me directly and is without a guru. But now I have decided that I will fill the gap by being the guru to here, Guha, and at the same time I will accept him as well. So he is called as, here, hence it goes as Vaikunthaha. The next nama is Purushaha. Parama Pavanatvat Purushaha. He is the purity personified. Pavitranam Pavitramyo Mangalanamscha Mangalam. He is the repository of Mangalatvam, auspiciousness. He is the repository of Pavitratvam. So thereby purity and auspiciousness are there in him. Purushaha. The next nama is Pranaha. Sarva Pranat Pranaha, the one who is actually the life breath, the one who rejuvenates everybody whom we see. So on the battlefield of Yuddham in Sri Lanka, when all of them fell, he asked for Hanuman's help. Hanuman came and helped. At one point in time, Garuda came and helped. In whichever way help he was, when Rama used to look at someone, they used to feel rejuvenated. So he is called as Pranaha. The next nama is Pranadaha. Prasiddhanam api pranan dadati iti pranadaha. So, he says, dadati iti pranadaha. So, he says, he is the one who bestows people with the dharma bhuta jnanam and the life in every body, in a pancha bhautika shariram. Since he does that, he is called pranadaha. The next one is pranamaha. Swagunaischaracharan namat pranamaha chara achara namanat. So he says he is the one who is recommended and is deserved to be worshipped. So he is called as Pranamaha. So if you take up great temples even in the south of India, Valmiki would have come and worshipped Rama. So in such cases, worshipping Rama becomes mandatory because he is a repository of all the qualities that define Parabrahmam. He is the one who tried leading a life that could set example in certain ways. So he is called as Pranamaha. The next one is Yashasamapi Vistirna iti prutuhu. And at every form that he takes, he spreads his fame. The greatness of him is that the fame or the aura that is spread to all the devotees. He is called as Prutuhu. So when Guha had to meet up with Rama in Shringiberapuram, which is his place, Rama didn't have to introduce himself because Rama's activities and gunas were so pure that people around in all the regions knew of it. In fact, Vali questions him. வாய்மையும் மரபும் காத்து மண்ணுயிர் துறந்த வள்ளல் தூயவன் மைந்தனே நீ பரதன் முன் தோன்றினாயே. Your father was such a great man, Rama. Your brother Bharata is such a great man. How are you like this? So the point is, people knew of Dasharatha, people knew of Bharata. When these people have a fame, Rama was a person who was central to it. The next one is Hiranya Garbha. Hitaramaniyasya dhyatru hridayasya shubhashrayattvena nirgiyatvat hiranya nidhi samyada. So he is the one in those people who do meditation in their hearts. For those people, he will be the very amritam. It says subhashrayattvena nigiryatvat hiranya nidhi samyada. He is the one who is a hiranya nidhi. He is the one who is the treasure trove. So he is called as Hiranya Garbha. The next nama is Shatrughnaha. Vishayeshu Vikshepanat Tesham Ravanacham Undriya Indriya Varga Viveka Sharair Hanti Shamayatiti Shatrugnaha. If the senses that we have, Darpo, Dagra, Dashendriya, Nanamanaha, Naktaccharadishtite, Dehesmin Bhavasinduna, Madigate, Deenam Dashamasthitaha, Adhyatve, Hanumatu, Sameta Guruna, Prakhyapitarthaf Puman, Lanka, Ruddha Videha, Rajatanayan, Nyayena Lalapyate, the Dashendriyam. Pancha Jnanendriyam, Pancha Karmendriyam that torments a Jivatma is akin to that of Ravana. And the only way to destroy that particular impediment we have is to use the arrow of Viveka. In Sankalpa Suryodayam, Vedanta Deshika deals with this elaborately. So he is called as Shatrughnaha. The next nama is Vyaptaha. Tadhyane Mugdha Vridhra Bhartru Bhritya Shatru Mitradishu Vatsalya Viseshat Vyaptaha. So, he in turn, without differentiating, he ensures that he channelizes his grace and love equally to all of them. So, his love and aura pervade everywhere. He is called Vyaptaha. The next nama is Vayuhu. Swayameva tatra tatra tanu gachatiti Vayuhu. So, for those people who are genuinely devoted towards him, he goes to their house and blesses them. To the house of Guha and Shringiberapura, Rama, along with Sita and Lakshmana, went to that place to bless. He wanted to bless Hanuman and Sugriva. He went all the way to Kishkinta to bless them out. He wanted to bless Shabari. So he went to her ashramam and blessed her. So the concept is Vayuhu, like how it pervades everywhere, the Lord will also go to that particular place to bless them. Next, Adhokshajaha Evam Amrutodadhivat Sarvaihi Sadopajamanopi Adhonakshiyate Jatu Yasmat Tasmat Adhokshajaha. Next he says, like how his qualities are like an ocean, how much ever you start experiencing the waters of that guna ocean, it will never get dried because it is so deep. The one that is so deep, he says, Adhonakshiyate jatu yasmat tasmat adhokshajaha. So his qualities are so deep that even if a few of them are being experienced, the volume does not come down and it will not dry up. The next nama is Rutuhu. Sadapya Purvai Sarvollasa Karair Uttarottara Gunair Upayair Richati Iti Ruchuhu. So he says, now he says that Sadapya, so so if all his gunas have been envisioned as water, sea waters, one guna after the other comes, so that we don't give a gap for the devotee or the person who's experiencing to take some time. One guna after the other comes. In such a case, he is called as Rutuhu, to just show the person whom you are meditating is no ordinary person. The next guna is Sudarshanaha. Guna Prabhavan Abhijnanam api Darshanamatrameva Shobhanam iti. Now, he is the one, on one side he is showing his qualities, he is the one who is also showing his nice beautiful form. When he shows his nice beautiful form, so it says, Abhijnanam api darshanamattrameva. So what is the insignia here? His entire body, which is a repository of qualities as well as very beautiful to look at. So he is called Sudarshanaha. The next nama is Kalaha. Evam bhutair gunair atmani charachara sankalanat kalaha. So, in the characharas, he ensures that he showers love on them, gives them the knowledge, and finally makes sure that they all reach towards him. He is called as Kalaha over a period of time. Next, Parameshti evam rakshasa mrigagaya jagadrakshanecha atra vihritya punaha parame sthane tishtati iti parameshti. Now, after killing the demons, he has gone to Vaikuntham. So the one who has completed his avatara mission is called so. Atimanusha Shila Vritta Veshaihi, Ativrittamara Vikrama Pratapaihi, Atilangita Sarvaloka Samyam, Varaye, Vaishnava, Vaibhavavataram. So after this avatara, he goes back to his abode. The next nama is Parigraha. Atra tatra cha parito grahaha asya iti parigrahaha. Swasambandhi paurajana pada tat sambandhinam tad devata tadarama duradvorapi paramapada prapanat. Now, while he left to Vaikuntham, he ensured that he took all of them along. He did not want to differentiate between the plants, the flora and the fauna. He did not want to segregate human beings based on the varna. He took all of them. Alvars mention about this. Annu characharangalai vaihundattetti adalaravappahayeri ashurar tammai vendru. Kulashekara Alvar of Kerala says this. There is another Alvar who also says, who is Swami Nammalvar. Karpari Ramabiranai allal mattum karparo purpa pullerumbado ninniye narpal ayothiyil vaazhum characharangal muttravum narpalukku uithanan naanmuganar petra nattule. So in whichever form he is, he will take all the chara and acharas along with him during the end of Ramavataram. Hence he is called as, it says here, Parigrahaha. So he says, Tada Ramata Durvadairapi Paramapada Prapanati. They will get even Paramapadam, says this Nama of 421.